Hello and good afternoon. From the KUOW newsroom, this is Seattle Now. I'm Ruby DeLuna with a roundup of today's top stories. It's Friday, May 30th. Thousands of people have signed an online petition seeking to recall Washington Governor Bob Ferguson. It's part of mounting frustration over new tax increases. Olympia correspondent Jeannie Lindsay reports.
The online petition was filed one day after the governor signed into law the state's next budget, which includes billions in new tax hikes over several years. The petition now has more than 37,000 signatures from people who want to see the governor booted out of office. Shannon Soderlund, a gas station cashier from McCleary, started the petition on change.org.
He says in his campaign he wants to make Washington affordable, and people are censored in his decisions, but obviously not.
But there's a high bar to recall officials in Washington. A judge has to approve a recall effort before backers can gather signatures to try to put it on the ballot. That's one reason why conservative political activist Julie Barrett is urging people not to sign the petition. She's the founder of the group Conservative Ladies of Washington.
So you're signing something that really has no teeth to it, and you're giving away your data to whomever is behind, change.org.
Barrett is instead urging people who are unhappy with higher taxes to focus their attention on races for the legislature. Governor Ferguson did not grant an interview for this story. I'm Jeannie Lindsay in Olympia.
King County Assessor John Wilson has responded to calls that he resign after his ex-fiancée filed a restraining order against him. Politics reporter Scott Greenstone has more.
Wilson texted KUOW saying he won't resign or suspend his campaign for county executive. 7 elected Democrats have called on him to step down, including the mayor of Seattle, 4 county council members, and a state senator. This month, Wilson's ex was granted a temporary restraining order against him, the second in a year. She claims he's stalked her, tracked her to a new address, and pushed his way in to kiss her. Wilson hasn't denied the allegations, but insisted their relationship, quote, continues, and they saw each other last week. As county assessor, Wilson manages the government's property appraisers and was elected by voters in 2023, so he can only be removed by a recall election. Scott Greenstone, KUOW News.
Catholic bishops are suing the state of Washington over a new law they say violates their rights to religious freedom. The law requires religious leaders to report suspected child abuse or neglect, including anything they learned during confession. Catholic clergy take vows not to reveal anything discussed in confession and face excommunication if they break those vows. Bishops based in Seattle, Spokane, and Yakima argue in the suit that the new law infringes on their First Amendment rights. They also say the state constitution protects freedom of conscience in religious matters. They're asking for the law to be set aside and the state to be barred from investigating or prosecuting Catholic clergy for not following it. It's set to take effect on July 27th. A woman who's been a legal permanent resident with a green card for 50 years has been released from the Tacoma Immigration Detention Center. 64-year-old Llewellyn Dixon was detained in February at SeaTac Airport after returning from a family trip to the Philippines. She spoke to a crowd of family, fellow union members, and her local Filipino community moments after she walked out of detention yesterday.
It was horrific. It was awful. It is crowded, super crowded. They release maybe 9, they bring back 7, they release 1, they bring 3.
Immigration officials cited the fact that Dixon was convicted of embezzlement in 2001 as a reason to deport her. The judge said she considered a number of factors in deciding to release Dixon, including her recent history of work and paying taxes. Dixon says she expects to return to her job as a lab technician for UW Medical Center. Her family says she also plans to apply for citizenship ASAP. Seattle City Council member Kathy Moore is withdrawing a controversial proposal to change the ethics requirement for council members. Right now, members must recuse themselves from votes when they have a possible conflict of interest. The measure would have allowed council members to take those votes on the condition they disclose their potential conflict, even if the member has a financial interest. Moore says she withdrew the proposal because the council needed more time to make the right decision. The Seattle Transportation Department now says the Ballard Bridge will be open after all this weekend. SDOT originally said the bridge would be closed for ongoing repaving work, but it announced today that instead the Leary Way Bridge will be closed this weekend for seismic retrofit work. The next closure of the Ballard Bridge is scheduled for 1 week from today, starting June 6th and going through June 9th. And finally today, beekeepers are working on a plan to gather a swarm of approximately 250 million honeybees in Whatcom County. The bees escaped after a semi-truck carrying their hives tipped over at around 4 this morning, just outside Linden. The Seattle Times reports Whatcom County Sheriff's deputies responding to a 911 call had to hide in their patrol cars to avoid being stung. People are being warned to stay at least 200 yards away from the overturned truck. Next week on Seattle Now, Washington's involuntary commitment system isn't working, and neither are efforts to reform it.
I would say first and foremost, people who need treatment often can't get into the system.
Hear that Monday morning. And that's all for today from the KUOW Newsroom in Seattle. Our producer is Andy Hurst. I'm Ruby DeLuna. Seattle Now and KUOW are members of the NPR network. Have a great weekend.